Okay, now this topic we are going to start is internal carotid artery. Internal carotid artery, let me have some revision from the past. Internal carotid artery is one of the terminal branches of the common carotid artery, right? And this common carotid artery on the right side is a branch of brachiocephalic trunk, and the left side it is a direct branch of arch of aorta. The two common carotids they ascend up into the neck in the cervical region and at the level of the upper border of the thyroid cartilage at the level of C4, or we can say upper border of C4, or you can say at T3 T4 junction. There you find is the bifurcation of the terminal bifurcation of the common carotid artery, which is enclosed in the carotid sheath. Now it divides into internal and external carotid arteries. The external carotid artery moves out of the carotid sheath. Internal carotid artery continues within the carotid sheath, medially in the carotid sheath, because internal jugular lies lateral to the artery. Vagus lies behind in the carotid sheath. So this is now internal carotid artery. It ascends up into the cervical region and reaches to the base of the skull, where you find is a carotid canal found in the base of the base of the skull in the petrous temporal bone. So from there, this internal carotid artery enters into the skull. Clear? Now this internal carotid artery, cervical branch, important is the cervical branch of internal carotid artery does not gives any branches, any named branch. There is no named branch from the cervical part of the internal carotid artery. So if you focus on in this slide, right, it's all the four divisions of the internal carotid artery. They have shown it here. ठीक? Now look here, ध्यान से देखो, इसको समझ में आ जाएगा. They have seen shown is the vertical extent of the cervical portion of the internal carotid artery. This is first part, the cervical part of the internal carotid artery, right? And as I told you that the cervical portion of the internal carotid artery, ये C4 upper border से or C3 lower border से, it commences there from the upper border of the thyroid cartilage, that level, and it has a slight dilatation at its base, and that's called carotid sinus. Carotid sinus, is a baroreceptor. Take. So from there it ascends up, and when it reaches in the base of the skull, there it finds a foramen, and that opening is called opening of carotid canal. That canal. So it enters into the carotid canal. Now this course is within the petrous temporal bone. It runs within the petrous temporal bone, right? That is the second portion of the internal carotid, that's called petrous part of the internal carotid. Now after taking a 90, actually there is a steep bend when it enters into the cervical portion. When it enters, this I am telling you is about the course of this internal carotid artery. Focus on, remember this, अच्छे से समझ लेना. So cervical branch vertically ascend करी, किस में? Carotid canal में enter करी, and when it enters in the carotid canal that is present in the petrous temporal bone, it 90-degree angle. It takes a sharp bend and moves forwards and medially in the petrous temporal bone. When it reaches the apex of petrous temporal bone, which also forms the posterior wall of the foramen lacerum. So from the apex of petrous temporal bone, it enters into the foramen lacerum. Then running, because foramen lacerum, the lower portion is closed by a cartilage in life. So after having the small coursing through the foramen lacerum, then this portion which passes from the apex of petrous temporal to the upper border of foramen lacerum, this course is upwards and medially. In the petrous temporal bone, it was forward and medially. then it within this foramen lacerum, it is upwards and medially. So when it emerges into the cranial cavity, in middle cranial fossa through foramen lacerum, now it comes to lie in medial wall of the cavernous sinus, in medial relation to the cavernous sinus, along with the abducent nerve. So this much coarse you can see is its cavernous portion. The third part is the cavernous pars, intercavernous portion, and this is S-shaped. ठीक है, जिसको हम carotid siphon कहते हैं. जब when you take a carotid angiogram, so in the angiogram you mention it as S-shaped or carotid siphon. I'll tell you, it has a significance of pulsation. Because of its pulsation, it is actually, it causes regurgitation within this trigeminal ganglion, or because of which the sluggish flow of blood in the dural vein, especially in the cavernous sinus, which is like, the seat of, or you can all the dural sinuses have a communication nearly to this cavernous sinus. So if cavernous sinus, the blood is regurgitated, so what happens, because of these pulsations, there is like drainage from the cavernous sinus down below through the emissary veins outside the cranium into the pharyngeal and pterygoid venous plexuses. So this carotid siphon helps to push out the blood, sluggish flow of blood from the cavernous sinus outside the cranium. Okay, so this is the cavernous portion, and when it reaches the anterior portion or anterior superior portion or the roof of the cavernous sinus anteriorly, it emerges from the roof of the emerges from the diaphragm ocelli. Adjacent to that is diaphragm ocelli, from the roof, or you can say the roof of the cavernous sinus anteriorly. Now it becomes, and it comes to lie in the floor of the brain in the interpeduncular fossa, and that portion, the last portion, is called the cerebral portion of internal carotid artery. This is the cerebral portion of internal carotid artery. I hope you would understood this 1, 2, 3, and 4 portions of the internal carotid artery. Okay. Now look here. This portion, the cervical portion, as I mentioned, artery is medial. Remember this, artery being a vital structure, and it's more important. Just this is all unofficial thing which I'm telling, just to remember, because artery is something more important. Artery is supplied to the brain, it needs more protection. So it like याद रखने के लिए याद रखना कि artery is more protective, and it's is more protected rather, and it's more medial in position. So in the carotid sheath, artery is medial and vein is lateral. So this is the carotid sheath reaching, that I told you in the morning lecture, that carotid sheath, this upper limit will reach and encircle the carotid canal as well as the jugular foramen, because this internal jugular vein is like commencing from the jugular foramen. So it covers up the upper end, superior end of this carotid sheath reaches to cover up carotid canal as well as jugular foramen. So internal jugular vein ascends up and reaches into through the jugular foramen. It is like in continuation with the sigmoid sinus. Vagus also is coming. You remember jugular foramen, I told you in the morning, there was 3 parts: anterior, middle, and posterior portion of the jugular foramen, and through the middle portion of the jugular foramen there was a 3 nerve, 9, 10th, and 11th cranial nerve. They were descending down to the jugular foramen. So vagus, of course, 9, 10th, 11th, all of them will be emerging out. They will soon exit out from the carotid sheath in its upper portion, but vagus will descend down behind, posteriorly, or in between posteriorly to these 2 vessels, right? Okay, so this was the cervical portion. Now talking about the branches. So branches are, and course we have discussed about the internal carotid artery. Now we talk about the branches. As I told you that the cervical portion of the internal carotid artery gives out no named branches. Okay, there are no named branches from the cervical portion of internal carotid artery. Then when it reaches into the petrous temporal bone, it has nearly, directed forward and medially. And in this course of the petrous temporal bone, it will give, remember that I told you that petrous temporal has a lot of significance, a lot of wide structures, a lot of things there. You have middle ear, you have internal ear, you have bony portion of the external ear. Then you have, internal jugular just behind that. You have internal carotid artery also within this. There are a lot of structures. So just remember that this internal carotid artery comes to lie in anterior relation to the middle ear. Clear है ये बात याद रखना. So the petrous portion of the internal carotid artery comes to lie in anterior relation to the middle ear cavity. So through the anterior wall of the middle ear, it gives its caroticotympanic branches. These are caroticotympanic branches which pierce the anterior wall of the middle ear to reach the cavity of the middle ear. Okay? And don't forget the entire course may, right from the cervical region up till the cerebral portion, the entire course of this internal carotid artery is surrounded by sympathetic nerve plexus as well as venous plexus. Remember this. So these caroticotympanic branches will also carry sympathetic nerve fibers to the middle ear. Got it? Then in my morning lecture, I told you there was this artery which was not always present in, occasional branch, that is called artery of pterygoid canal, which enters the pterygoid canal along with the Vidian nerve. And Vidian nerve, that is the nerve pterygoid canal, which is formed by the fusion of deep petrosal and greater petrosal nerves. So within this pterygoid canal, you find Vidian nerve and the artery of pterygoid canal, which is a branch of petrous portion of the internal carotid artery, but it is inconstant branch. ठीक, दो ब्रांचेस हो गई हैं पेट्रस. ये सब वाइवा वोसी के लिए भी याद हो रहा है तुम्हारा, वाइवा वोसी एज वेल एज एमसीक्यू पर्पस. तो cervical portion, no branches. Then petrous part, 2 branches. Okay. Now after emerging out through the apex of petrous temporal bone, it passes through foramen lacerum, it ascends upwards and medially and reaches into the middle cranial fossa to come to lie in anterior medial relation of the cavernous sinus, where it has a S-shaped sigmoid course called carotid sinus. In this carotid sinus, this abducent nerve lies infralaterally to this artery. And within the cavernous portion, it gives 3 branches. So petrous portion, 2 branches. Cavernous portion, 3 branches. Now these 3 branches may say 2 branches will reach to supply the pituitary, right? Because it's running in medial relation to cavernous sinus. So you can say on the lateral side of the hypophyseal fossa, both the sides, adjacent sides of the hypophyseal fossa, both the sides. So it will give branches to the pituitary gland, So it will give superior and inferior hypophyseal branches. Superior hypophyseal artery, inferior hypophyseal artery, right? These are the 2 branches from the cavernous portion. And remember, because foramen lacerum is formed by the apex of petrous temporal bone, and onto the apex of petrosal bone, there is a trigeminal fossa or a groove onto which the trigeminal ganglion is resting, but it is carrying the dura of the posterior cranial fossa along with it, and that's called Meckel's cave. So Gasserian ganglion is covered by Meckel's cave, the recess or an extension of meninges or the dura of the posterior cranial fossa. That's called Meckel's cave. So there, because you have this trigeminal ganglion just behind it, right, from where this internal carotid enters into the cavernous sinus. So it also gives a branch to the trigeminal ganglion. ठीक, तो अब पता चल गया ये जो there are three branches from the cavernous portion, two hypophyseal, superior and inferior hypophyseal branches, and a branch to the trigeminal ganglion. Okay, then the cerebral part. Cerebral part में there are 5 branches, right? This 5 branches of the cerebral part में क्या क्या? First I told you is ophthalmic artery, right? This artery along with optic nerve enters the optic through the orbit through the optic branch 1. Then you have, posterior communicating branch. This completes the circle of Willis to join the posterior cerebral arteries. So this is posterior communicating branch. Then you have anterior choroidal branch, right? This is an anterior choroidal branch, the central branch reaching to the cerebrum and participating choroid plexus, right? So there is choroidal branch, anterior choroidal branch. And the 2 terminal branches, it terminates finally the internal cerebral, internal carotid artery terminates in the interpedunclar fossa by giving its 2 terminal branches, and these are anterior cerebral artery and middle cerebral artery. Anterior cerebral and middle cerebral artery are the 2 terminal branches. Anterior one is a minor branch, middle cerebral artery is a major branch. So if it is asked like what is the continuation of internal carotid artery within the cranium, the answer is middle cerebral artery. Okay, so you know that there are 5 branches. Okay, the 2 branches from petrous portion, 3 branches from cavernous portion, 5 branches from cerebral portion. Learn them by heart. And cervical part gives no branches. Okay, actually, this relationship will be in fact taught to you while teaching the middle ear. But just because I'm like going through this portion, the petrous part, I told you it was running in anti-relation to the middle ear cavity. So let's have a brief idea about the relation. Petrous portion of the internal carotid artery is posterior-superiorly related to, yaad rakhna, middle ear and cochlea. Middle ear and cochlea lies posterior-superiorly, like behind to it. That's why I said artery lies anterior to the middle ear. Okay? So posterior-superiorly is middle ear and the cochlea. Then anterolaterally to the artery, you have auditory tube and tensor tympani. These 2 also open into the middle ear cavity, but a little above to this, let's tell you about this anterior wall of the middle ear. It is actually into 3 parts. ठीक है, तो सबसे ऊपर anterior wall of the middle ear, there's upper portion of the anterior wall, there's an opening called auditory tube. So that upper 1/3 is related to auditory tube. Then in the middle 1/3 it is this tensor tympani. Remember, this is a muscle derived from first branchial arch, right? And it is attached to malleus, right? And its nerve supply will obviously be by, who will tell me the nerve supply of tensor tympani? It will be mandibular nerve. So these 2, auditive and in the lower portion, it actually carotid artery is related to the lower 1/3 of the anterior wall of the middle ear. That's why the middle ear is posterior superiorly related to the artery, internal carotid artery. Then superior relation, obviously ये खुल रहा है किसमें, foramen lacerum में, and the apex of petrous temporal bone forms the posterior wall of this foramen lacerum. So when it enters into the foramen lacerum, it is superiorly related to trigeminal ganglion, which rests onto the apex of petrous temporal bone. So these are the relations of the petrous portion of internal carotid artery. Okay. Now, relations of the cervical portion of the internal carotid artery in the neck. So in the neck, as you know, this is carotid sinus, like the lower and the commencement of this artery from the common carotid, where it commences at the level of the superior border of the thyroid cartilage, C3, C4 junction pain. There is a dilatation called carotid sinus, which is a baroreceptor. Then it ascends up, enclosed into the carotid sheath. So what all you find anterior to this is, of course, this sternocleidomastoid muscle. You'll find hypoglossal nerve. Then you have posterior digastric, stylohyoid, the strap muscles, thyroid, the styloid process, stylopharyngeus, like tensor villi, palatini, auditory tube, all are like in anterior relation, external carotid, all occipital artery, branches of external carotid, they're all in anterior relation. Posterior relation में क्या होगा? Remember, this is covered by carotid sheath. And Subay, in the early morning lecture, I told you that sympathetic chain lies in posterior relation to the carotid sheath. So if this is covered by carotid sheath, behind to this will be the sympathetic chain, and this is the largest sympathetic ganglion, that is the superior cervical sympathetic ganglion, right? Superior cervical sympathetic ganglion is around 2.5 centimeter in length, thick. So that will be in posterior relation. Then you have 9, 10, 11, 12 nerves. They're also in upper portion of the content of the upper portion of the carotid sheath. So they will all be in posterior relation to the internal carotid in its upper portion. Then behind to that, remember that I told you that the sympathetic chain is plastered, is it, embedded to the prevertebral fascia. So this is prevertebral fascia, which is covering the prevertebral muscles, right? Longus capitis is one of them, longus cervicis. Actually, remember when I was teaching prevertebral muscles, capitis is superficially related, because it covers the upper portion of uh, longus cervicis or longus coli as well as rectus capitis anterior. These two muscles are covered superficially by longus capitis. So because it's upper portion of the cervical region, so this prevertebral muscle is longus capitis. So these are the relations, anterior and posterior relations of the internal carotid. Just because I'm like, covering this area, why not like ask you some questions? Like, okay, there are still 7 people waiting in the waiting room. Yeah. So, ये जो questions आते हैं, carotid triangle has been taught to you. I believe everybody knows this carotid triangle in the side of the neck. So in the carotid triangle, you find a Y-shaped structure, and that is common carotid dividing into its two branches, internal and external carotid. It's like a Y-shaped or tuning fork type thing. So there are some structures passing between the two, between external and internal carotid arteries. They are asked as MCQ or in YY exams. Then there are few structures which these arteries, and there are few structures which pass deep to these arteries, both these arteries, right? So remember now that what passes in between, what passes in between the two external and internal carotid artery is, remember, glossopharyngeal nerve, like glossopharyngeal, and this is a branch from vagus called pharyngeal branch of vagus. ठीक, तो pharyngeal branch of vagus and glossopharyngeal nerve, they pass in between external and internal carotid arteries. Remember, ये carotid triangle में पढ़ाया गया होगा, and this is very commonly asked, what are the structures passing between external and internal carotids? So glossopharyngeal nerve and pharyngeal branch of vagus, right? Then what passes below or deeper to both these arteries? And that is the superior laryngeal nerve. Superior laryngeal nerve passes deep to both internal and external carotid arteries. Okay. Then what passes superficial? You must be knowing. ये हमने जब हम पढ़ा रहे थे tongue, तब बताया था. Rather branches of external carotid पढ़ा रहे थे, if I remember. वहां पे पढ़ाया था that hypoglossal nerve is superficial to both external and internal carotid arteries. So what lies superficial to both external and internal carotid is hypoglossal nerve. What lies deep to both external and internal carotid is superior laryngeal nerve, which is a branch from vagus. What passes in between external and internal carotid artery is glossopharyngeal and pharyngeal branch of vagus. Learn this by heart. ये वाइवा में पूछा जाता है, एग्जाम्स में भी, MCQs में भी. Okay. There's still people waiting in a waiting room. The petrous part of internal carotid artery. See the relations of the petrous portion. Now look here. This is the petrous temporal bone. Outside, posterior, behind the external auditometers, this is the mastoid process. This is the posterior wall of the petrous temporal, right? Forming anteriorly, seen anteriorly in the posterior fossa. This is the anterior surface of the petrous temporal bone, which forms posterior surface of the middle cranial fossa, and this portion of bone is called tegmen tympani. This actually forms the roof of the middle ear as well as internal ear, the roof, tegmen tympani. Then you find ये middle ear cavity है, right? And onto this promontory, यहाँ पे you have this tympanic canaliculus, and through this tympanic canaliculus, this glossopharyngeal nerve gives its tympanic branch, which reaches into the middle ear to form tympanic plexus. From there, remember which nerve arises from tympanic plexus? That is lesser, which is lesser petrosal. Now this I was talking is like the anterior wall of the middle ear is divided into three parts. Upper portion is the canal for tensor tympani. Actually this is in upper portion, right? यहाँ पे processes coccoliformis is actually that makes it this muscle which passes here, tensor tympani, which makes a sharp bend because of this canaliculus, processus canaliculus. And then you have the auditory tube here in the middle portion, and in the lower 1/3 it is this internal carotid artery. You can see it is covered with sympathetic nerve plexus as well as venous plexus also surrounds this. So in the lower 1/3 of the anterior wall of middle ear, it gives its tympanic branch of internal carotid artery, right? As well as because the sympathetic plexus around this artery, which also gives out its caroticotympanic nerves also through the anterior wall. This is also called caroticotympanic. Foramen lacerum, I have told you, this is petrous temporal, this is the petrous portion of the internal carotid surrounded by sympathetic and venous plexus, enters into foramen lacerum, and in the foramen lacerum, it gives this artery to pterygoid canal, then it ascends up. This course is upwards and medially, and it reaches to lie in the medial relation of cavernous sinus in the middle cranial fossa. Other structures passing foramen lacerum is the meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal and the emissary vein connecting the cavernous to the pterygoid venous plexus, and the two nerves, deep petrosal and venous and greater petrosal, which join to form the nerve of pterygoid canal, also called Vidian nerve. The relations of this cavernous portion of this internal carotid artery, here you're seeing, is a cavernous sinus, right? This is a cavernous sinus with endothelial lining, dotted lines, right? So these vessels and nerves, actually they're not bathing inside this cavernous, they're rather having this endothelial covering. So these are the nerves you can see which are in lateral relation to the cavernous sinus, oculomotor nerve V1, right? Then you have, oh sorry, this is the third cranial nerve, oculomotor nerve. Fourth cranial nerve is the trochlear nerve. Then this is the endothelium, and they have ophthalmic nerve V1, and then you have maxillary nerve. Mandibular nerve is not related to the cavernous sinus. It straight away down dips down into the foramen ovale. So in this portion, in the medial wall, you find there is this internal carotid cavernous portion, which is inferolaterally related to the abducens nerve. And this is the fourth part. After having a sigmoid course into the cavernous sinus, this cerebral portion of internal carotid, it ascends up to the roof of the cavernous sinus to lie into the floor of the brain in the interpeduncular fossa. Okay, continuously since the beginning, I'm receiving these messages. Admit all kar rahe hain. Now you're seeing is the cerebral portion of the internal carotid artery. This is the cerebral portion of internal carotid artery. This portion. So this internal carotid, as you see, is this curved portion, and it is continuing as middle cerebral artery. After giving out these branches, it continues as middle cerebral artery. Now, internal carotid artery, the branches given out is anterior cerebral artery, you can see. Then you have a posterior communicating artery, right? Then you have this ophthalmic artery, ठीक है? एक anterior choroidal branch होती है. They have not shown here actually the ophthalmic division. ठीक है? तो ये हो गई posterior communicating हो गई. From this, you also have ophthalmic artery. ठीक है? Then these central arteries जो है anterolateral, they are given out from middle meningeal artery. But from the internal cerebral portion of internal carotid, there are 5 branches. You know, ophthalmic artery they have not shown. Then the 2 terminal branches, anterior and middle cerebral, and posterior communicating and anterior choroidal artery. Only this much. ठीक? So you're done with this internal carotid artery in detail. I hope you'll remember this. Okay, so it's done. Then what is the time? Okay, a small topic, we'll cover it in one or two slides.